Oh.
So you enter this arena, and you can hear the sound of this crowd, the cheering, the chanting, and there are two men in tattered rags down in the pit currently. They have short swords which are tied to their hands, and they're wearing virtually nothing for armor, and they are just circling and sort of jabbing at one another. And every time blood is drawn, you just hear the audience react. And you see that the eastern side of the stadium is mostly cleared out, and there's a bunch of vomit on the floors, which is being apathetically mopped up by some other slaves. As you are seated here watching the fight take place, Jack, you spot this robed woman, and she comes up through the stands, and she has been looking around, kind of scanning, and then you note that she takes kind of a erratic route to get to you, but she eventually takes a seat in the stands up in front of you with her back to you. She's just looking straight forward, but it sounds like she's talking to you. I thought I saw some lost little lambs in the market today. I know a shepherd who could get those lost lambs home, but he charges a fee, 5 coins per lamb.
I'm sorry, lady. Are you talking to me?
Remember, you're charismatic.
Yes, I suppose we have a deal.
There's suddenly like a cheer from the crowd as one of the fighters gets hit, and Lycoris like stands up and throws popcorn all over Bimp in the party.
The big woman counts a bit extra.
I really can't argue with that.
Yeah, she is a bit extra.
I suppose that makes sense.
When you try to offer over the money, she shakes her head, and then she points to the ground. And then she sort of turns her foot outward and presses the toe of her boot against Sam's foot.
Ooh. I think she likes you, Sam.
So I put it near her boot.
Mm-hmm. And then once you drop the coins, she slides them over with her foot. And then she leans down as if she's adjusting a buckle. And then she gets to her feet. And she just gives you the slightest little toss of her head. And she walks down the stands and toward one of the exits.
Okay. All right. Come now, Lycoris. Time to go.
Still watching the fight. You probably need to do a little more than that.
What's your intelligence, Lycoris?
-1 or 8.
Oh, damn. So animal friendship won't work. If we have time at the end, we can come back to watch more when we are on a return trip.
She holds out a pinky.
All right. Pinky pro. Ow! Ow! Gentle, please.
She leads you toward one of these run-down buildings that's all boarded up, and you see her produce a key from a pocket, and she opens the door. Guardpeck is an underhanded businessman, and I understand you came into some difficulty in our meeting, so I apologize for that. But I am very good at getting people in and out of this city. That is my specialty. And I will bring you to the hills. I don't know where this temple is, but I have a suspicion that one of my friends knows where you can find it. So
right.
the whisper leads you through some of these abandoned buildings, and you come out outside the city. So you cut off the road a little bit, go up into the hills, and finally in a thicket of trees, after a little bit of looking, the whisper under her breath, she goes, "Fucking finally." And she points to this orange-robed figure who is what looks like gathering herbs or something like that at the edge of the trees. And she says,
Olena flies out and tackles him.
"This old fart will get you, I think, where you need to be. I'm not sticking around to talk to him. Enjoy yourselves."
Well, I guess that's the guy.
He straightens up and he turns, and Sam, you recognize this man.
Oh dear.
Oh, Sam, my boy, how are you? What? Oh my goodness, you're not here to rob me, are you?
Oh, certainly not.
You and that
We're
large
actually
brute.
looking for help.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
she's one one of our friends. Don't worry about her.
Good to see you again, my boy.
How have you been?
Keeping busy. My research is going along well. I'll have to tell you about it.
I'd love to hear about it. I actually got to use one of the spells you taught me earlier today.
Oh, did you melt someone's face?
You could say that, not directly.
Well,
Good.
Makora's helped. It's a temple to Velsharoon. Have you heard of that name before?
I've heard the name, whispered. I will say I'm not aware of any followers of Velsharoon here in Luskan. They must be, well hidden.
No.
Do we know anything about Velsharoon as a deity?
Give me a religion check. So Freya and Jack, and Lycoris, you are aware that Velsharoon is the god of necromancy.
Yeah,
I have to be careful.
I guess I'll tell the man. Well, you haven't seen any zombies or undead creeping around here, have you?
Not recently. Nothing out of the unusual. There are some caverns that connect out to the ocean along the coast. I also know that here in the hills there are a number of different entrances to them. And perhaps I could point you toward one of those.
I'm sorry. How do you two know each other?
He was my understudy.
Yeah, we studied together for a little bit so I could learn a little bit about Odium's magic.
Can you hand me my soap on a rope, Sam, my boy?
Don't let his appearance fool you. He can absolutely party hard when it's necessary.
Oh, yes.
When it's necessary.
Like Makora's can.
There are a number of kobolds that have taken up residence in one of these tunnels, and those might be the fellows to ask. They're not too unruly. They'll listen. I think one of them even speaks common.
So Odium leads you off through the hills, and he's chatting animatedly with Sam, kind of catching up with him. So at this point, you are still within earshot of the coast. You can see ships out there far at sea, and the wind is sort of rolling through. The wind keeps the worst of the 80-something degree heat off. But as you are getting up here in the Blackford Hills, Odium leads you toward one particular hilltop where you see this large circle of stones. It looks like something used to stand here, and there is still the remnants of kind of like old tiles that have all been stamped and overgrown. But in the center of this, it's not really a wall, more like a stack of bricks, you see that there is this tremendous nest. It must be 8 feet across. And in the center of it, you see that there is a kobold standing there. It is a tall kobold. He is 5 feet tall, and he has wings.
Shit. Wow.
And he is watching you guys as you approach.
This is Carl, the King of the Kobolds. I can't say whether that's an official title, but perhaps he can help us find this temple you're looking for.
And this kobold is just giving him a death stare. Stinky wizard, why you bring them to nest? You see that he has a number of eggs in this nest. Some of them are like kobold-sized. Some of them are small. There's just a variety. They're not all from the same creature by any means. You bring them to Carl Nest.
These friends of mine were looking to find a certain temple that might lie in the Blackford Hills. Do you know anything about that?
What you bring, Carl?
I have a little bag of sand.
Yeah,
That's what
you
we
know.
could bring you, Carl. There's supposed to be great treasure there. Perhaps if we find it, we could bring you something back.
Carl snorts, and you see little wisps of smoke come out of his nose. Carl not do that. Carl, kobolds do that. You want go in the tunnel. You bring Carl egg.
Egg.
Is mayonnaise is made from an egg, right? Because I can
have
offer
mayonnaise?
him. I can offer him 2
He's got a
gallons of
lot of
mayonnaise.
I think that might start initiative order.
Oh, you might like mayonnaise.
Stinky wizard want get in here. Go in Carl tunnel.
Maybe find treasure, maybe find death. But first, you bring Carl egg.
We could probably manage finding an egg.
I guess. What kind of egg? Just any egg?
Egg!
Huh. Fair
What time
enough.
of day is it?
It is right around 1 p.m.
I'm gonna make him mayonnaise.
You have this large alchemical jug, which is like, imagine the water bottle that you put on a water cooler. It's like that size, but big,
Yeah.
heavy ceramic.
All right, yeah. So the magic word for mayonnaise is fun sauce. Fun sauce, and I kind of tilt it over, and I'm like, hold out hands, and I pour mayonnaise into Carl's hands.
I imagine this mayonnaise comes out like soft serve ice cream, like. So he puts his hand in front of this torrent of mayonnaise that's pouring out and kind of splattering on his nest. He brings it to his mouth. It's not good egg.
I'm gonna try some too.
Carl want big egg, hard egg. Egg with creature in it.
I'm gonna offer some mayonnaise to the party.
No, thank you, Lycoris.
I'll
no
have a
thanks.
bit. Thank you. Well,
Yeah, I mean, I'll take some.
I've heard tell of a place in Waterdeep that sells creature eggs. Maybe we can sail back there real quick.
Carl glares at you.
water deep. Sell egg. Sell kobold egg.
I don't know about Cobalt. I haven't been there myself, but
Carl have egg with kobold lady. And Carl make big nest for egg. Ready become strong father. And then, while Carl out hunt, kill, get deer, Carl come back and man had taken egg.
oh,
Now Carl collect all egg, protect egg. You bring Carl egg, maybe let you in the tunnel.
what man took your egg?
Stupid ugly man,
This one?
like you.
And he's looking at Sam.
I haven't
is
taken
ugly.
any eggs.
Good, you no take Carl egg.
If I wild shaped into a crocodile that was pregnant, could I lay an egg?
This is gonna be really gross.
No, never mind. I don't want to do it.
I think this is more Forge of
don't want
Furries.
You could probably take a traipse through the forest.
Okay, smelly wizard. Do you know where any eggs are around here?
Hey, don't go calling me smelly wizard.
Ah, yeah, that's just what he said.
I don't smell, do I? It's because he's a kobold.
Odium.
He thinks all humans
Yeah.
smell.
Okay.
A slight odor.
I'm gonna use my wanderer background to find food and fresh water for myself and up to 5 other people.
Okay.
Nice. I'm gonna look for like any kind of tracks of something that might lay eggs.
So Freya, you spot an egg nest that is about 15 feet up on these cliffs. You can see the bird eggs within them, but getting to them will be a different matter.
Can I use Mage Hand to get the nest? I'll grab it and lower it back down to see what's in there.
Got it. You reach up with your mage hand and then slowly bring it down past Freya, who is still standing with her staff upraised.
No, I show it to her first. I'm not gonna like take it. Like I found it.
Peace,
And I'm
bitch.
helping out.
You see that there is what looks like a seagull egg in it.
What do you think about this egg, Freya?
Yes. I was just trying to figure out how to get to it. I didn't see the bird itself around. I would have asked it for it, but
Well, I hope this will suffice for that overstuffed, pompous kobold.
Yeah, certainly hope so.
His story was quite sad. I do kind of feel for him.
Oh, boo-hoo! He lost an egg. Get over it.
He was hoping to have a family.
Looks like he's got a family. Did you hear them back in the cavern? He's got many of these kobolds. I don't know if they're all his kin.
mother?
Yes, we'll bring them the eggs. Come on, let's go back to the pompous dimwit. Should have just made an illusion and let him bite into his own hand.
Who
I'm
is
eating
waiting?
a bowl of fruit with some mayonnaise.
Yeah. Lycoris has gathered enough food for 5 people and is now setting about eating all of it.
Smelly wizard, you come back. You bring eggs for Carl.
Of course we did. Got some nice fresh eggs for you right here.
Ooh, yes. He turns around, he kind of snuggles them down into the nest.
I'll show him the egg that Freya and I found.
Ooh, more eggs. You done good, you please Carl.
He takes that egg from you with a clawed thumb and forefinger. He looks at it, and then
Oh my god.
Good egg.
Oh my. Did not expect that.
Give
Yeah,
some
me
mayonnaise
either.
in his hands.
he turns and he looks out at one of these cliff faces, and you see the shrubs kind of bristle and move.
Smelly wizard and friends going back.
You see a little flurry of activity, and then one of these shrubs is uprooted, making it quite apparent that there is a tunnel there in the side of the hill, and there are 4 or 5 kobolds just standing by, looking with interest.
All right, well, let's go down in there.
Sam, it has been good seeing you. I will let you on your way now. Best of luck, lads. And
Yes,
lady.
thank you, Smelly Wizard. You've been very useful.
Yes.
I'm gonna try to sneak one last little bit of mold off his cloak.
Just rips the whole
It's
thing
like
off.
Cheese Whiz. The tunnel that has been opened for you, as you approach, the kobolds vanish into it.
Are there any other types of tracks coming in and out of this thing?
Give me
Or
a
just
survival
kobold?
check. You discern that it looks like there are the footprints of at least 4 humanoids. Like boots and shoes, that sort of stuff. Looks like 4 people have been through here recently. But that is kind of obscured by hundreds of kobold footprints. The kobolds clearly come through here very frequently. Some of the offshoots of these tunnels, they're kind of like little holes in the wall where you can tell kobolds must use them to get from place to place. Not exactly certain what you're looking for. You finally, in the light of one of your torches, you see a human skull
Uh-oh.
just sitting on the
Recognize
ground,
him?
just chilling.
Well, that's all right. Looks like it's been here a while.
I put some mayonnaise on the skull.
Farther ahead in this tunnel, you can hear what sounds like the sound of combat.
I wanna go up ahead, like in front of them, enough to be out of the torchlight.
Sure. Okay.
I have this ability. While in darkness, you are invisible to any creature that relies on dark vision to see you.
Got it. Okay. And then you see a pillar up ahead. It has been smashed. It looks like this pillar used to be maybe not supporting something, more decorative than anything. You also see more bones as you make your way in. Some of these look human, some of them do not. You find there is a chamber that you have approached, and there is a light here. There is light streaming in from a large hole in the ceiling. It looks like far, far up. It must be 50 feet or more. There is an opening. But down here, this cavern just comes to a dead end. And you see that there are pillars in here. There is also a raised bit of stone that falls almost directly under this opening up above. You can hear the sound of the ocean a little more powerfully here. This must open right up to the coast. And you see a number of individuals. There are 4 humanoids in here, and they seem to be fighting some undead. There is a man in armor, like plate mail. In fact, 2 of them in plate mail, and they are fighting alongside what looks like a half elf, maybe a full elf, who's casting spells. And you see the strange aura of her magic kind of playing around this chamber. And then your eye is drawn to this raised platform on the far side of this cavern. This is around 100 feet from you. You see that there is a person that is unlike any person you've ever seen before. He has like a craggy yellow skin, and he is gathering up a huge pile of coins. It's hard to tell from where you're standing how much treasure there is, but he's just handfuls of coins and just gems and things like that. You see it all glittering in the light. And then this fighter moves up and deals the killing blow to it.
Okay, well,
You can hear like a whispered conversation between some of these adventurers.
They apparently don't need our help.
I guess not.
You hear this man who is standing in front, and he is wearing plate. He has a sword in his hand that it hits the light kind of oddly. There's almost like an aura around this sword. And he calls out and he says, "What business have you here?
What business have you here?
If you won't tell us, we'll have no choice but to fight you. Get out of here while you're still
We'll say it
alive."
at the same time on 3.
Why fight us for what? We're just travelers like you.
This is ours. Be on your way.
Why? Because you found it first?
Yes.
Maybe we could barter with them.
We could just ask them to look through it.
You see one of these bags of coins is loaded down. The two armored guys grab the gold and they sort of stack it. This cleric-looking fellow, he stops as he's hauling this bag of coins, and he just kind of glances over his shoulder at this gentleman. He is standing there with, he has plate armor, and there is a vivid blue sash across his middle, and he's holding his sword. He
Is the
says,
sash recognizable?
go ahead and give me a religion. This is the symbol of a puncer,
Oh,
who is a god of, I believe he's neutral. It is a god of like self-focus and discipline. He says, "We are not here to parley."
Well, that's good. Neither are we. Look, we're just here for one particular item. We don't want any of the rest of it.
You hear the bag of coins over here jingle as it hits the floor. As you are here watching this individual up on the elevated area, he reaches down into this snarl of coins and artifacts and different things. You see like the hilt of a sword in here. You see a sizable chest. He holds up this orb, and in the light of the torches here, you can see that this is a glassy green orb, like bigger than a softball, and this matches up perfectly to the description that Carl Dragonborn gave you about the shard of the Exarch. And you see this yellow individual. He kind of gazes at it, and then it goes into the sack.
hey, look, Horace. If things go south here, would you want to be even bigger and stronger?
Lycoris is going to look southward and then shrug, like, what? South?
Right? Well, when I saw the thing, I'll be like, yep, that was it. That was it right there.
A whisper go between the spellcaster and the warrior here, and then you see that she turns toward your party, and you can hear her casting a spell. And
Oh boy.
as Jack steps up and says, "Well, that was it," the end of his sentence is cut away.
Can I counterspell?
You sure can.
Okay.
Owning.
Can I...
So this phenomena still happens, Jack, where you hear your speech almost cut off, and then under his breath almost, you hear Bimp kind of in a sharp whisper cast some other spell, and the effect ceases. And then you see the fighter draws his sword and steps forward.
Straight bimping.
Roll me
They
initiative,
just attacked
please.
us.
Where is Sam?
Alright,
The heck?
it's gonna be magic
dark.
missile
Okay.
at 2nd level.
Who's your target?
Shit.
Let's... I wouldn't really be able to see this person, so I think I'm gonna go for this person.
The spellcaster?
Yes.
Okay, and then it is the fighter's turn. This fighter of a puncer. So he swings his long sword at Jack. 9 points of damage. He slams his sword into the air itself, and it forces Bimp backward. And then after that, he is going to try to strike you with a backhand, Jack. So you're going to take 5 points of damage as his fist connects.
Alright, I'm gonna hit him with my short swords.
Ooh.
Locoris is gonna be like, nobody hurts friends, as she flies into a bloodthirsty rage. The floor shakes, the ceiling collapses, and everybody dies.
Everybody dead.
She raged too hard.
And you're gonna follow up with the double chump chop
Got it.
with a 17.
That hits.
Everyone within that cube must make a DC 15 Wisdom save.
Okay.
On failed, they're charmed for the next minute. They're incapacitated and have a movement speed of 0.
So she makes it. And then we will do the cleric. He's pretty good at this, as you might expect. Still fucked it. And then this guy, that is a +0. This spellcaster, she holds her hands together, and there is this aura of energy that surrounds her. Basically throws it. She lobs it like a
Counterspell.
stone. If you'd like the counterspell, sure.
I'm gonna cast a counterspell as a 4th level spell.
Okay.
Oh shit.
And you see that the spell, when it hits the ground, it just kind of vanishes.
This also gave me 30 feet of movement, so I can use 40 to get to there, and then another 30 to get to the top.
Sure.
What else can I do but fucking mangle this guy's biscuits?
Do it.
I'm gonna
Biscuits.
no.
That's
I'm
a good
gonna,
way to put it.
I'm gonna pick him up and I'm gonna waltz him over with me. This guy with a mace.
It's our treasure. You cannot have it.
We don't want it, you fucking idiots.
Yeah, we just lost that one
I
thing.
just
One
want
thing.
I'm Turquoise. Go home.
God, you people are morons. Is there a good-looking piece of treasure anywhere? Alright, I'm gonna try to beam the wizard in the head with one of them.
That's gonna hurt.
Ouch. Yeah. It's gonna hurt.
That's a lot of damage.
You see, like, the life flash out of her eyes,
Oh.
but she stands herself back up. You see this strange aura around here, like darkness. And so you're pretty sure that would have killed her, but there's some kind of magical force that she possesses that has bolstered her. She's still on the edge of death, though.
Can I do an Arcana check on that?
So you think it is the type of sorcerer that she is. She has some kind of bond that has preserved her through death. Anything else?
Not for us. Yeah.
Let's see. Please stop.
Was
Jack,
that related
go
to
ahead
her
and give
design?
me a perception check. As you climb up the shelf here, and you've got to your feet, you glance up, and you see that the overcast sky, it gets darker, and there is a shadow forming around you at your feet. Something is coming down this tunnel. This wind that has increased, you realize that it is a creature that is coming down the hole in the ceiling. This bulky green dragon descends, and it lands like a lightning bolt on top of the Gith. And very quickly, you see the Gith is pinned, and it is being bitten and slashed at. And the Gith draws his swords and tries to hit it, but the weight of this dragon upon him is too much. And you see the half-elf spellcaster use Dimension Door to send the Gith out.
Maybe it's
So-
friendly.
She is going to... So she is going to quaff a potion.
And I cast Lightning Bolt 3rd level at
Okay.
the dragon.
Got it.
Do it. Woo!
Holy
That's
shit.
a lot of sixes.
Sure is.
Not
Oh,
bad.
shit.
Owning.
Holy
I don't know if
That's
there's
a
anything
really
else
good
in
roll.
my direct line there, but hopefully not.
You hear the dragon
Very
go.
good roll.
Yeah, Max. Do on that one.
Oh, God. I should have done that.
Jesus. On his turn, Gray is going to make an attack. That would be this, the fighter. He is going to try to attack Lycoris. That is a nat 20, baby.
I'm probably going to use Stone's Endurance.
So it's going to be 15 slashing total. I would also like you to make an intelligence saving throw. You're going to take 5 points of psychic damage.
We tried to talk with them.
Now it's not even us killing them. We're the good guys now.
Yeah, just feed him to this dragon.
Okay. Jack, it is your turn.
Oh, that's where the orb is?
This looks like it's about 40-pound bag of treasure.
Can I rifle through it real quick?
It's right on top of the
Stealthy.
bag, so you can grab it. So you grab up that shard of the Exarch.
Okay, nice.
Shit.
You see that when you do, the dragon turns and it looks over at you.
Hey, you got poison resistance any chance?
Next up is Lycoris. You still have Gray in your clutches.
Do we know that Jack got the shard? How far can I throw a person?
Depending on the athletics check, probably 10, 15 feet. This guy is in full armor, but I know you are pretty strong.
Yeah.
15 would be perfect, really.
I'm going to step here, and I'm going to drop Gray right at the feet of this dragon.
You see the female spellcaster by you, Lycoris. She's really dwarfed by you. She's like 5'3", and you are really tall and screaming, and so she cowers from you.
They're just gonna pick up all their party members and put them at the dragon.
Yeah.
You stay.
You hear another flapping. It's this dragon with kind of a blue cast that comes down, and you just see the tips of the wings. You see this snout, and this dragon bellows this plume of mist that fills up the cave in the area instantly around this dragon. And so the area is pretty well obscured by mist.
I'm gonna make an illusion appear on the treasure as if a magical hole has opened under it and is sucking it all into it. So all the treasure is being sucked away. Only that dragon can see it. I yell, "Everybody out!"
Is the Asian dragon in here?
No. It was just in the breach in the ceiling, and it sounds like it has departed.
Alright, so I probably didn't see it. So this is spike growth. The ground twists and sprouts hard spikes and thorns. The area is difficult terrain for the duration, which is 10 minutes concentration. And when a creature moves into it or within the area, it takes 2d4 piercing damage for every 5 feet it travels.
The spellcaster, she's here in the mist, and the rest of you guys, you see that this dragon from up above descends through this 50-foot drop, snaking along its length. This is a very long dragon with a blue cast. It sweeps down into the mist, and you see it collect the spellcaster and the fighter and the cleric. Just grabs them up with each of its sets of legs, and then it exits.
That's their magic missile.
We could also GTFO.
Yeah, but I want everybody to head towards the door. I want to kind of to keep the attention away from everybody because I'm still far away. So do third level
Says
magic
the
missile
squishy
at the
spellcaster.
dragon.
So I think I'll GTFO with my friend.
Defoe.
With 40 feet of movement and a dash, that will take me off the screen.
Nice. And the dragon, it is going to breathe poison. So I would like Jack and Sam and Lycoris. Yeah, con save.
I saw two things happening there. It was either going down the tunnel or Freya was dead in her tracks.
25.
Ooh, nice save.
Bimp is fine. He's down the tunnel when this cascade of green poisonous cloud comes plowing toward you through this tunnel. And so Sam saves and takes half. Lycoris saves and takes half. Jack is going to take the full 1d10 poison. Or not 1d10, 10d10.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So So it's going to be
we get-
51.
How are you there, Jack?
Oh, that'll do it.
Yeah, me too.
No.
Well, I'm gonna go scoop up my friends.
I'm gonna turn into a cave bear. And these guys are being picked up and carried.
Yep.
So I'm gonna basically follow behind them.
Okay. So the party goes sprinting back into these caverns.
So there was the fighter of Hunzer, right? The cleric of Ilmater,
Yeah.
who was a Gith.
No.
No, two different people.
The other guy
Correct.
was
Okay. Oh, we never fought him because he was just paralyzed the whole time. Until a dragon landed on him and he got teleported away.
Yikes.
Okay, and then it was a half elf
Yes.
sorceress.
Mhm.
That should not be hard to
I'm
track down.
back. I needed to get my poke sandwich.
Oh my god.
Boom,
You're
boom,
pulling
sandwich.
pork on your penis break?
Because these people are clearly a menace.
So I'm gonna revert out of my, as bonus action, out of my bear form.
Okay.
As I caught up to them. There's a torch I can see. Behind me, as close to us as possible, going back into the tunnel that we came from.
Mhm.
I'm gonna call to the power of this staff and cast
Oh boy.
Wall of Thorns in a straight line.
So it can get to about here, and then it can move like 10 feet, which is not far at all. So Freya invokes her staff, and you see that the dragon gets caught up in these thorns.
Does this seem like the right way out?
But it's a question of whether or not you can remember how you came in. It was kind of a confusing snarl of tunnels.
Well,
We
can I
also
use
might want
my...
to find a different exit since the kobolds and dragons. I assume I know this. Do I know that kobolds and dragons tend to be buddy? Kobolds worship dragons and all that.
The kobolds were certainly avoiding this part of the tunnels.
So as a feature of my background, I have an excellent memory for maps and geography and can always recall the general layout
Bangin'.
of terrain, settlements, and
Nice.
other features around.
South is the way to go.
All right, let's go south.
Some alive?
For me, thank you.
Oh, that's a really pleasant roll.
You're both alive.
Oh my
I'm
god.
still running. You're probably
That's
still
even
under
better
my
than a
arm.
critical hit. I know.
So how does this work? Do you regain that amount of health, or do you just
Yeah, you
pop
regain
back
that.
alive with
Yeah.
1 point of health?
You got 18 and Jack's got 16. You're conscious. Probably not feeling the brightest, but
Probably not.
But you're still under my arms. I'm like Mama Bear. and I'm still running, holding you guys.
You can hear the dragon behind you just rustling and fighting through this wall of thorns.
he's mad.
And as you hit the water and as you are splashing across this, it's maybe half a foot deep. It's really not much. I think Lycoris would be over it in 2 strides, and not to mention Bimp just floats right over it. And Freya is a water genasi, so it's really just fine going through the water. You hear the dragon still fighting at it as you are running. You hear a roar, and you can smell again that pungent scent of the breath. You head out of this tunnel, and as you reach toward the surface, you see there is really no sign of the kobolds. Far in the distance, Sam, you catch sight of the mist dragon that had been coughing mist into the cave. You see just the tip of his tail as he disappears along the coast. And so the rest of you guys are still running. Lycoris, I'm going to have you make me an athletics check if you're still carrying these 2 comrades of yours.
Nice.
Okay, no sweat. Yes. Lycoris quite easily keeps both of you under her arms as she charges through these hills. And so you are running through basically a rainstorm now. And
Anybody want to get zapped? You can do extra damage.
so as you are pelting into the hills, you see that green dragon rise up. As it is
I'm running on asphalt.
As it is charging in, you see it with a heavy beat of its wings. It soars through these clouds, And then you see this mist dragon. It comes surging out in the other direction, and there is a burst of mist that obscures the sky up above you. You see that the mist dragon no longer has that other party in its claws, but it collides with the green dragon, and all of this mist allows you to keep traveling. The sky up above is just mist and black clouds, and soon you are running through the rain toward Luskin. You reach the city outskirts, so you are up in the Blackford Hills looking down over the city. You hear to the north on the river Mirar, one of the ships that is making its way down, you hear it discharge its cannons. And though they're not close enough to really be effectual, you hear the same cannons, another salvo somewhere out on the sea, and there are these cannons going off. As you approach, you see that on the ramparts, the outer walls of the city, are soldiers, and they scramble to ballistae, and they begin firing as this green dragon comes in. As you are closing in, you are now 300 feet from the outer walls, 200 feet, just going as fast as you can, your lungs burning. Lycoris's huge, hulking frame taking you under her arms just as fast as she possibly can, still dripping blood from the combat. This green dragon comes past, and it emits another belch of this poisonous breath right at your heels, and you manage to get out of the worst of it. And more of these ships on the sea discharge their cannons. And so this green dragon finally is deterred by all of this cannon fire, and it turns off back to the north, up into the hills. Lycoris, as you set your comrades down, and you are finally able to take a breath, you see that the gargantuan host tower of the Arcane is covered in demons. You see winged critters all around it, flitting around it. And then you see, by the light of the moon through this driving rain, a huge surge of green flame envelops the host tower from its base up the long branches.
Jesus Christ.
And
that scared the hell out of me.
After this flame surges up the length of the tower and then disperses with a burst up above the tree, you see that the weather clears for a moment above it as this magical flame roars and then dissipates. You see all of these demons drop from the sky, fall to the ground, just turn to ash.
Demons?
Correct. And you are now safe from the dragon. You have the shard of the Exarch in your hand, and you have survived the mists of
We
the
got the
Mirar.
shard of the Exarch.
I
Way
think
to go, Sam.
Lycoris is gonna go straight to the inn and like plop his compatriots down on the bench and go get a keg of ale and just like dump it on their heads. Like, friends, revive!
And then strangle the fucking bartender.
Do we know what
Can
the
I-
shard is?
No.
Even by looking at it,
Well, we
looking
heard
at-
that it could bring
putting
the dead
mayonnaise
back
on
to
it?
life.
No, you can
No,
talk
you
to
can
the
use it
dead.
to communicate with the dead.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
Correct.
communicate.
I would like any of the spell casting able characters, go ahead and make me Arcana checks. Jack, you take a look at this orb, I would imagine in the tavern afterward, as Lycoris is just backhanding the bartender. People are trying to pull her off. You think something is a little fishy about what Carl Dragonborn told you. This doesn't seem like it has any kind of dead communing qualities to it. That's Jack's take on it. When Sam takes a hold of this, you are pretty sure you know what this is. And it is not something used to commune with the dead. This is a dragon orb. This is used to control and command dragons.
Oh shit.
Dragon Ball.
And so you think that Carl Dragonborn misled you or lied about the purpose of this artifact.
Or didn't know.
Huh. I would definitely share that with everybody. Maybe it's tied to that dragon that helped us out.
Yeah, would have been nice to know a little while ago, too.
Yeah.
You're almost dying.
I will rip the suit off that little fucking gnome! Your chorus goes into a rage.
Why would he lie to us, though?
Probably because he didn't want us to have an orb that he thought could control dragons.
Right.
I mean,
Because, I don't
look
know,
at
we
us.
could take this dragon orb and sell it for a hell of a lot more money.
Could have a dragon
stone-
under command.
So we saw these adventurers when we were in the host tower arcane. They came down from the top of the tower and left,
Yes.
unmolested by, I can never remember her name,
Valindra.
Valindra. So they left. They were only 3 though. The Gith was not there.
Mhm.
But we did happen upon a Gith at one point out in the ocean when we were sailing.
What is a GIF exactly? I mean, I can Google it, but...
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah. Totally forgot about that.
yeah, it's a humanoid that is from essentially the outer planes, specifically the
Astral Sea.
Astral Sea. There you go. Thank you.
They're space pirates.
Mhm.
So we found that a Gith dead in the water, and we brought him with Klaus to a cave where we met a dragon who also happened to help us on a battle on a ship by spewing mist. I don't think we've seen a green dragon in our campaign though.
I don't think so. No.
No, I don't think so.
You could have seen one in Lost Mines of Never mind.
Could have. That was a young green
Yeah,
dragon.
true. What was this?
This was not a young green dragon.
I was surprised at how poorly a battle with level 7 characters can actually go. I was like, oh shit, we're not as powerful as we thought we were.
We fucking manhandled the
Well,
shit out of that other party, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you sure did.
Yeah.
And the scrubs outside the carnival. Those poor boys.
That's true.
Holy moly.
The double CC of 2 wizards is hilarious.
Yeah.
So I was all excited about all these cool 4th level spells, and I was like, oh, I'll only get 1 spell slot for that, so why did I pick like 3 of them? That was stupid. And then it was a
Yeah.
poison dragon. I was like, I shouldn't have told him what I was going to do with my character last week. I would be more secretive next time.
So what were the 2 spells that were getting counterspelled, out of curiosity?
The first one was silence. You guys knew that.
Yeah.
The other one was
crowd control.
her. She had a pact ability where she could summon a dire wolf using sorcery points.
Oh.
But it's like an evil wolf.
Yeah.
When it was like, oh, there's some wind coming down from the hole, I'm like, holy
Yeah.
shit, a dragon. And that was a dragon. I was like, oh my god!
Yeah.
So
Treasure hoard if I've ever seen one. 2 dragons.
we have to go back in there later and get all that money.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the next question. Do we bring this back to Carl? Maybe
Exactly.
that's saved
I
for
don't know.
another
No, I want
shot
it.
at some point. That's an interesting
I don't know,
thought.
how well do we know Carl? I'm thinking, fuck that guy.
We also saw the party from the Forge of Furries. At least the
Yep.
initial
Oh yeah,
party.
that was
That's
cool.
When we went to the tower as a Guy's Lord party,
Mhm.
wasn't the outside of the tower blackened?
Yes. There were also piles of ash.
Oh, so that was before we arrived. So we were still sailing because we found the Gith.
Correct.
Okay, so we were there and then we stopped there. So when we met Falgear, it must have been after the events of this.
Yes.
And he saw the Gith body. I don't remember him really saying much about it though.
No.
And then we came up, we saw the tower was blackened.
I think he may have even joked about eating the gift. But he also made mention to check him for magic items.
Ah. Would Whisper have had sex with Jack?
Maybe.
Nice.
Would Vicrul have had sex with Lycoris?
Probably.
It'd be the last thing he'd ever
Oh,
do.
man. Yeah, death by snoo snoo for sure.
The campaign
Hips
would have
are
ended
gone.
before it started.